That's the way you win. If you got everybody thinking that way, look, we don't have time for nonsense. We're going to compete. I'm going to try to make you better. I want to get better. That's the kind of atmosphere you want. And they have that atmosphere. You can see by the way everybody's talking, it's serious. I went out, they just let us look at a little bit of the workout. Guys competing. Devontae, he got deep on Darius. 6, but they're going after each other. That's a good atmosphere. They really do. They got some good things they're working on over there, and we'll see, because just working on it's not good enough, but you got to get it done. But the thing about AJ Brown though, man, grown man.
I want to start, before I bring JAKIB in here, I want to start this out by doing, and I want to set it up for Garry here, because I'll tell you one thing that I'm really enjoying. I'm really enjoying what I'm hearing from AJ Brown. Man, Smitty, we have another number one. Man, the sky's the limit for the guy. He has come in, and not only did we get one of the top wide receivers in the NFL, but it looks like we got one of the top leaders in the NFL. He's creating a culture here where, you know what? Look what he's doing, man. He's throwing his arm around a guy. These divas don't do that. But now you got a guy you're bringing in, man. You're praying for that. I want to get JAKIB's thoughts in on that from FOX29 here in Philadelphia. And Garry, am I right when I'm saying, look, it's one thing, these wide receivers, they like to get their targets. They like to hear this, but man, I'm getting a sense these guys are enjoying being around one another in the offseason. There's like a good atmosphere in the building. You got AJ Brown throwing his arm around Smitty. Sky's the limit. We have 2 number ones. This kid's great. Everything you hoped for that you're seeing so far, at least until September when rent's due and all that, is all good here with AJ Brown. AJ's really making an impact already on this team. Do you agree?
I would agree wholeheartedly. I was over there on Friday when they opened up, and the guys talked to the media, and you could see that when they were just interacting with each other, because AJ was followed by Darius Slett, and they were just good competition. They were talking about competing with each other. They want to make each other better. They're going to go after each other and that type of thing. And then AJ talked about Darius, he and how I asked him, what did Darius approach him about? What did they talk about? And he was saying they were talking about the techniques. They were talking about, things he learned from different guys, and, talking about, the different corners, the strength of one corner compared to the strength of another corner, talking things you want, professionals should talk about. And with the fact that they got a real good rapport, and it's all about, getting better. That's what they were talking about. What can I do to get better? Where, Devontae is asking him, hey, what can I do? When I ran this route, what can I do to make it a little better? And then, of course, Devontae's a good route runner. So AJ Brown, he's learning things from Devontae, and so they're just trying to get better. And you could see that kind of chemistry, that type of atmosphere. Hey, that's the way you win. If you got everybody thinking that way, look, we don't have time for nonsense. We're going to compete. I'm going to try to make you better. I want to get better. That's the kind of atmosphere you want. And they have that atmosphere. You can see by the way everybody's talking, it's serious. I went out, they just let us look at a little bit of the workout. Guys competing. Devontae, he got deep on Darius. 6, but they're going after each other. That's a good atmosphere. They really do. They got some good things they're working on over there, and we'll see, because, just working on it's not good enough, but, you got to get it done. But, the thing about AJ Brown though, man, Grown man.
Oh no, I see him on them films. He looks like a tight end running around. That's a big fella.
Hey, every time a DB is out there covering him, when he catches the ball, your job just got started because you got to get him to the ground. And that, I'm going like, that's a grown man. You don't see wide receivers put together like that, man.
Hey, Garrett, you know what I'm liking what you're saying and what I'm hearing and the things that are being reported there too is that, you know, when you're a rookie, and you kind of broached it a little bit there, when you're a rookie, and I remember doing this, I walked into the shitty environment of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everybody in that place was looking for a life preserver.
Yeah.
They weren't looking to help anybody next to them. They weren't.
Yep.
Look, Marvin Powell was in there.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went to Marvin Powell because Marvin had played such a long time and was one of the top O-line. So I kind of watched him and how he played as long as he did.
Yeah.
But there weren't a lot of guys in the room. Then they brought Mike Stensrud in, and I'm like, okay, here's a guy to play with Curly Culp. What I'm saying is a guy like Devontae last year, man, you don't know if you're doing the proper things on that yellow brick road to get you where you want to go. But when you're hearing a guy like A.J. Brown telling you, hey, this kid's going to be great, and you're watching him, these guys show you that path, don't they?
That's
on
right.
What it takes to stay in the league and to get to that next level. That's the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're smart, you're eyeballing them. You know, you're eyeballing them, and you see him go do something after practice. Hey, what are you getting ready to do? You know, if you're hungry for that, see, and Devontae's hungry for it. He knows, and see, came from that atmosphere at Alabama where they were going to be the best. They weren't talking about just being in the contest. No, they're trying to be the best. So he comes in with that kind of mindset, and that's going to be a good thing because, you know, A.J. Brown he's already shown he can do it on this level. So, and the way they were talking, and the thing about A.J. Brown is he is the type of guy. He's a team guy. You know, a lot of times the wide receivers are not team guys, man.
Oh no.
They looking for stats. They want to get their stats. That's what they're interested in. That's all they're interested in. They're not thinking about the big picture. But A.J. Brown is not that kind of guy. He's a team guy, and he's a guy that's going to compete with you, and he's going to work with you. And he's a good guy to have for the rest of those young wide receivers. Great guy because he's a worker. He's got his head down. He's not, you know, got his head in the sky and stuff. So he is a good guy to have in here. And you know what? They enjoy the work. You can see they're the kind of guys that like to work. And he's one of those kind of guys. And just good to see them with their practice. I think they got a real good atmosphere there. That's the way you turn out excellence, man. You just want to be getting better. And you're going after each other all the time. You're going after each other. And you know what? He said after his Jalen threw a route, a comeback route. And really, the DB was in between him and the ball. So he told him, look, when I'm going deep, overthrow me. Throw it out there. I'll go get it, you know. But don't underthrow me, overthrow me, you know. And they were already talking. See, they're already talking that type of chemistry you want to develop with the quarterback and the receiver. And, you know, he's the kind of guy that, look, if I don't catch it, nobody's catching it. Because then, you know, if somebody's going after, and that's the way he did on that play at the practice. And you can see he's a team guy. He's the kind of guy, level-headed guy, not out in the clouds somewhere. And he's going to be good for this team. He's going to be good for a team, but he's a fighter. And he basically said, look, when he catches the ball, he's not letting one guy tackle him. He said, ain't no way. No, he said.
No, I watched game film on this guy. And this guy, after the catch, man, he is an absolute machine. I want to take you to this comment that Phil Simms made on the show on Friday.
Uh-huh.
Garry, it's coming out now that the Eagles are not going to play Jalen Hurts in the exhibition season. They're going to get him ready and play with these controlled scrimmages, kind of resembling what they did last year. And my point to that was, I even asked Jimmy Johnson on Twitter that, and Jimmy's like, that is a flawed mentality. And then I asked Phil that, and Phil goes, look, practice reps are not, even if you're getting limited reps in those exhibition games, they're a higher quality of rep than what you're getting when you're in a controlled scrimmage.
That's right.
They're at the NovaCare Center. So just your take on that they don't want to play Jalen or really a lot of the starters in the upcoming exhibition season.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, when you get out, you got fans in the stands. Guys come through there with their equipment on, with their name on the back there. You know, guys know, hey, this is going to be taped. And this is a game. If people treat it differently. It's more intense, you know, and you need, you know, there's a part of football that's intensity, man. You need that part and the speed and everything.
Sense of urgency, right, Garry?
That's right. That's right. You know, so it's a game. You know, you're playing. They're the enemy. When you're practicing against your guys, they're your guys. Come on, it's not the same. And you want to get out there where you want to be able to see. You don't know what's coming, and somebody springs something on you, and you got that competitive juices flowing, man. It's practice is not a game. I mean, there's a reason they call them different things. Practice is practice. A game is different, even if it's an exhibition game. It's a higher intensity, you know, and you got those guys out. They know that the guys that are playing in the exhibition game know that, look, either what I do out here is going to put me on the team or I'm cutting myself right now because of the way I'm playing. Everybody knows that. Practice is not on that level. You know, it's not the same. So,
Garry, I think it goes into game tempo too, because you and me practicing game tempo, that's one thing that my former coach, Jimmy Johnson, we always did. It was practicing game tempo. So once you got into a game, you always see the teams that get down 7 or 10 points because the speed of the game, they haven't practiced it.
That's right.
In the exhibition season. And that's always my concern when you're not taking those quality reps, right? Am I on the right page there?
I don't, you know, I know that their whole thing is keeping everybody healthy and everything. Now, you're not going to have him running. You're not going to have him doing, but he needs to see the speed of people coming around the corner, you know, who got ill will. You know, they're not his teammates. Come on. Everybody knows, hey, you stay away from one. You know you do not fall on one. You do not touch one. You know that. But when you're playing against an opponent, there's always a little thing. And as a player, you know, you got a little uncertainty when you're in a regular game. You walk on the field, you're confident in everything, but you got that little, you know, hey, anything could happen out here because you're in a game. That's something the only way you get that is playing in a game. It's the only way you don't get that at practice.
That's right. You just don't get that game tempo.
No. I know that they have talked about how they're going to do things during the practice. The big thing they're thinking about is keeping everybody healthy and all that. You know, but at some point, man, you got to put the guys out there. I'm sorry, man.
Absolutely. Garry,
you got to put them out there
for you here. You know, John McMullen brought this up about Jordan Davis, and you know, I hadn't thought about this, and you tell me how you look at this here. You and I both agree. This kid's got a long way to go, I think, to be a third down player in this league. I think he's got to learn technique. I think Tracy knows him from his time at Georgia. I don't think his ability has lived up to his production when it comes to rushing the passer. I've mentioned this before to you, 43 games, 9 sacks, not quite the number we're all looking at, especially for the 13th pick. But John McMullen brought a great point up. Let's say this, though, Garry. Let's say all of a sudden they transform the run defense from being one of the worst run defenses in the NFL on first and second down, and all of a sudden they're constantly in third down and third and long. That not only improves the pass rush, it also improves coverages, and it also keeps the opposing team limited in what they're going to do third down-wise. Instead of having a quarterback go into a game and complete 90% of the passes, you're consistently going to be in third and long. Could that be his big impact on this team this year, is improving the rush defense?
You know, I think some of that is the reason they brought him in there, because when I talked to him on Friday, I asked him, I said, have they started, working with you on your pass rush and stuff? He really did. They haven't. They haven't really emphasized that to him. So I think they're going to do that slowly. They want him this year. The main thing they want him to do is come in and do what he can do. We're taking on those double teams. And, they like to play that 5-man front. And I think that's what they see in him right away. They're going to use that 5-man front where you keep those linebackers clean. You clog things up. That's what he's going to be doing. Taking on that double team because he does do a good
Gary,
job.
Are those ends in a wide 7? Are they in 7 techniques? Is that what that is when you're talking 5 front?
Yeah, that's what they're in. Yeah.
And they're covering the guards with the 2 tackles, right?
Wait, say that?
And they're covering the two guards with the 2 DTs.
No, yeah, the 2 guards.
Or are they slanting on the nose?
That's right. They got the tackles are uncovered, and that's right. They got the 3 guys inside.
That's it.
The center and the 2 guards covered. The tackles are uncovered. Those guys are outside, speed rushing. That's what Reddick does. See, speed rushing up the field. And that's what really he loves to do, and I think they love to play that. I saw them; they played a lot of it last year. They're going to sprinkle it in because, you really put pressure on the line because everybody's singled up, man. They don't know which guy is coming, and I even was talking to Brandon Graham, and they had him working on pass coverage. Come on, what are they doing? They're thinking about that 5-man front where those 2 guys outside, you don't know whether they're coming or not. And, you could be sending everybody from the other side. You think this guy's coming. No, he's running with the tight end just to try to hold him enough. So, and then, you got to, somebody's with their helmet in your ear if you're the quarterback.
Hey, Gary, I want to leave you with a story here. And I was reminded of this from Crawford Kerr.
Yeah.
Okay. It was about Ed Jones. And now, folks, do you see the smile on Gary's face? So let me just say this to you.
Yeah.
My first time was in 1987. I went over to Ed's house next to the hospital over there. Deadman's over there, right?
Yeah.
So I walk in and Crawford goes, "Don't be shocked with what you see." I'm like, okay. So I walk in and we're going into his bedroom and I go like this. What are we doing in his bedroom?
Yeah.
He goes, okay, go to the left. Ed Jones had this giant jacuzzi in there with number 72.
Yeah.
There is every kind of woman you can imagine. Chinese, black, white. Yeah. There's about 40 of them. And you have to understand about Ed Jones. Ed don't say shit in public. He's the quietest guy you ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
But Ed goes like this. He's got like 10 girls in this jacuzzi in his bedroom. And I'm going like, what the hell is going on here? And he goes like this, come on in. I'm like, oh, okay. Crawford starts laughing. I'm going like, he just reminded me, man, there's a pro's pro for you. Was Ed Jones.
Hey, I don't even need to comment on that, but I'll tell you what, Ed is going to be, Ed and Everson Walls, every year they come up and play at this tournament. So Ed's going to be coming up. He plays at a tournament, where was that? I think it's down in Delaware. So every year I play with Ed and everything. But hey, there are a lot of stories with Ed. Believe me.
Hey man, those guys. God rest his soul. Mark Tunay getting all drunk, man.
Oh yeah, Mark Tunay.
Hey,
oh man.
Oh my God, that guy was.
Oh man, don't know.
Gary,
man, Mark Tunay, boy.
I had my locker. I had my locker next to Ed's, and I used to follow him around, man. And I was like, this dude's 37 years old. He took 3 years off or whatever for boxing.
Yeah, you're right, for the boxing thing.
Man, he was such a number 1 overall pick, right?
Yeah, that's right. Number 1 overall pick. That's right.
Dude, what a great man. You tell him I said hi when you see him. Gary, next week I catch you, brother.
I will. Hey, have a good one.
That's my friend, Garry Cobb, man. Absolutely. Ed Too Tall Jones, one of the best people I've ever known in my life. Man, my wife loves him. I'll tell you what, though, man. Ed ran Dallas, dude. Quietest man you'd ever meet with the most women you'd ever seen. It's incredible, man. Anyway, hey, our friend Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free, which means this: they do not get paid unless you do. And if you're hurt or injured on the job, Finding that attorney is one of the most important things that you could possibly do for you and your family. Past 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has collected over $13.5 billion in compensation settlements for their clients. There is no firm bigger in America when it comes to doing battle for you. With over 800 attorneys in offices in Philly, New York, Florida, Morgan & Morgan is there for you. For the people, it's not a slogan. It's what they are, and it's who they are. Look, call them 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The call is free. The consultation's free. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor. Tell them Big Sil sent you.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. When you're hit from behind in a car crash, the insurance company may try to say, you can't possibly be hurt. It was only a few miles an hour. It's simply not true. You see, here's the thing. Getting hit at 10 miles per hour is like falling off of this. 15 miles per hour, like this. And only 25 miles per hour, this. Injured, dial pound law. There's only one Morgan & Morgan.